Hello everyone, today I'm going to be continuing the reading of Blaire Wilson's first book by Jennifer Castle. Chapter 19, Apologies. Pleasant View Farm is like Earth. It keeps spinning no matter what happens, even on afternoons when weddings of my almost big sister get canceled. Mom and the kitchen staff were cooking, Dad was working on the barn, and I was cleaning out the chicken coop while the chickens grazed in the field. I was scooping straw out of the nesting boxes when Grandpa appeared.
"Blaire," he said, sounding concerned. "I just heard about Kat calling off the wedding. I'm sorry, sweetheart."
I dumped the old straw on the ground. "At least it means you'll stay."
"Stay where?" Grandpa asked.
"Here," I said, "at the farm."
Grandpa's eyebrows knit together in confusion. "Huh?"
"We can't ruin Pleasant View Farm if the weddings never happens," I sighed.
"Blaire Wilson, I'm still not following."
I stopped scooping and turned to Grandpa. "You said weddings at the barn would ruin everything we spent so many years building. You said maybe it was time for you to retire. You said maybe you'd move out if the first barn event was a failure." My throat felt tight.
"When did I say these things?"
Grandpa asked. "At Freddy's, the day we got Penny and Dash," I said, picking up a clean mound of straw. "I heard you and Freddy talking in his living room." Grandpa thought for a moment, then shook his head.
"Oh, sweetheart, I didn't mean I'd actually move out. I was grumpy and said because my friend was losing his farm."
My heart skipped a beat. "So you won't leave?" I asked. "No matter what happens with the barn?"
"Blaire, I would never leave you or my family or our farm. This place and the people here are my life."
I was so relieved that I dropped my pile of straw and threw my arms around Grandpa. "You sounded so serious that day at Freddy's. I believed you." Grandpa wrapped his arms around me and laughed.
"Well, you can't believe everything you hear. Look, my job is to make sure we never lose sight of what the farm is about. I don't like the idea of this new party barn, but I believe in our family, and I'll always stick with you."
I was afraid I would cry if I said anything else, so I just gave Grandpa another ginormous hug.
"Now," Grandpa said, pulling away to look at my face, "what's going on with you? You were in quite the mood when you got home from the fair yesterday."
I told Grandpa all about my fight with Thea. "She said I abandoned her this summer," I said, picking up clean straw and filling a nesting box. Grandpa scooped up an armload of straw and filled another box.
"Well, Thea's right," he said.
"What?" I squealed.
"You've gotten so wrapped up in barn renovations and wedding plans that you've stopped doing a whole bunch of stuff," Grandpa said, reaching for more straw. "It's good to have a passion that fires you up, but you have to find a balance. You need time to have fun and time with your family and friends too."
I started raking up the straw on the ground, thinking about how many times I'd changed or canceled plans with Thea, or said no to invitations from her or our other friends. I shrugged. Hanging out at the farm is just easier. Every time I go somewhere with my friends, there's something I can't eat. It makes me feel like I'm a blob of lactose intolerance instead of a person.
"Ah, I see."
Grandpa rested an elbow on the top of the nesting box.
"I can only imagine how hard it is for you to adjust to your diagnosis, but retreating from your friends or getting lost in that tablet of yours won't make your food issue go away."
I raked in silence until Grandpa said,
"I believe you owe Thea an apology."
"Maybe I do," I sighed. "But she owes me one too. She promised she'd help with the wedding planning, and she didn't. It's not okay."
"Then talk to her. I'm sure she has a good reason for that. just like you thought you had a good reason for putting all your time and energy into the wedding. I rolled my eyes. Okay, I'll text her and not on that dang screen of yours, Grandpa corrected me. The real way, in person.
Blaire! Mrs. Demetriou exclaimed. I was standing on their front porch. I haven't seen you since Thea's party. Come on in. What are you doing here? Asked Thea from the top of the stairs inside. I brought you a peace offering? I held out a pinwheel I'd made. I had tied a bow out of some leftover fabric from Thea's birthday gift around the stick. I was hoping we could talk. Thea came slowly downstairs and took the pinwheel. Thanks, she said, blowing on it to make it twirl. Let's go back. Thea's yard was small, but it had a patio and a play set with 2 swings. When we were younger, we used to play there for hours at a time. After Thea stuck the pinwheel in the soil of a flower box, we both stood back to admire it. Then Thea took the swing she liked best. I sat down on the other. I'm sorry, I said. Thea raised an eyebrow. I know I've been obsessed with the wedding, I continued, but I didn't mean to abandon you. Here's the thing. I explained how rough it had been getting used to my new normal. Keeping busy at the farm was my way to just not deal with the fact that every time I went out, I was faced with stuff I couldn't eat and embarrassing conversations about it. We swung back and forth for a few moments, the creaking of the chains filling the silence. I didn't think of that, Thea finally said. You just know so much about food that I figured it wasn't a big deal. After another few moments of silent swinging, I took a deep breath and said, Why did you stop helping with the wedding? I'm sorry, Thea said quickly. I know I promised I would, and I bailed. I wanted to spend time with you, but Blaire, barn renovations really isn't my thing, darling. I nodded. Thea jumped off her swing and stood facing me. I started hanging out with Madison because it felt better to spend time with friends who were around. But I missed you so much. I stopped swinging. You did? Thea nodded. I missed you too, I said. Thea sat back down on her swing. Sorry if you thought I didn't miss you. I guess there's only so much you can say with texting, even if you add emojis and gifs. It's okay, I said. Then I had an idea spark. Wait, what if we had a special secret emoji between us that we could use when we're not sure what a text or email means? Like a way to say, I don't understand. Let's talk in person. Thea grinned. Ha! I love it. How about... Thea and I both thought for a few moments. The speak no evil monkey, we called out at the same time, slapping our hands over our mouths. Twin idea sparks. Perfect, I said. I think Kat and Gabe need a signal too. What? Thea asked. Why? Kat called the wedding off. Thea gasped. No, seriously? But why? We climbed up to the little fort at the top of the play set, and I told her about Mrs. V inviting Empire State weddings and how that was the last straw for Kat. It's sort of my fault, I sighed. Mrs. V and I kind of got carried away. Said Thea. Do you think Kat still wants to marry Gabe? I shrugged. I don't know. She won't talk to me about Gabe or the wedding. Do you think they still love each other? I do, but right now they're not talking to each other. Thea shook her head. We have to change that. Idea spark. Come inside, I said to Thea, borrowing her evil violence voice. I have a brilliant plan. Okay, so that is the end of chapter 19. I am very glad, though, that Blaire and Thea have worked things out now. So really, they just have to work on getting Kat and Gabe back together, which I think these two have it under control. I think they're going to fix that in the next chapter. So hopefully you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to give it a thumbs up. Also subscribe to the channel, hit the little bell for post notifications, and stay tuned for the next audiobook reading. Thanks for watching. See you soon.